Welcome to the Travel Like a Boss podcast, where we interview location-independent entrepreneurs that travel the world like a boss by being their own boss. Here's your host, Johnny FD.
Hey guys, it's Johnny FD, and welcome to episode 240 of the Travel Like a Boss podcast. I am sitting here in Chiang Mai, Thailand with Felipe. Caceres, as I say?
Caceres.
Caceres.
Yeah.
Where's that from?
My dad is from Uruguay.
Oh, wow.
And I'm my mom is from England, and I'm Canadian, so it's like a little bit of a weird mix. And nobody ever knows how to say my name or like where I come from, so it's kind of just been a good thing.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And you're living in Thailand now, or you've been here in Thailand for a long time.
Yeah, I've been in Thailand on and off since 2016, man.
Yeah, and we met back then, right?
We definitely met. I think we met here.
In Chiang Mai?
Yeah.
Do you remember how we met?
I do. It's really funny because I came with a girlfriend of mine at the time, and I was on Instagram, I think like the first or second day, and somebody commented on your post saying, "Hey man, I just wanted to say like I'm in town, I've been following your stuff for a while." And then you said to him like, "Oh dude, like we're going to lunch. Let's meet at Pun Space and then we'll go." And I was like, "Oh shit." Like I commented the same thing and you were like, "Hey man, you should join too." And the crazy thing about that is, I don't know if you remember this, but like I met my business partners today on that day. At Salad Concept.
Wow.
So like you have been like a big connector for me, like directly and indirectly. So it's really crazy, man. Crazy.
That's super cool. And you know what? Actually, what's really, really cool is I've heard this story so many times.
Right.
It's not normally over like lunch at Salad Concept.
Right.
It's always like the Nomad Summit or the Nomad Coffee Club or just kind of like one of the events I put together. And I think that makes it really rewarding to spend the time to do these things.
Hell yeah, man. I think, I got to give it up to you, man, because I think that you're one of the main reasons why I actually came out here. So the fact that it all serendipitously worked out for me is amazing.
Wait. You said that you were out here already. So did you already
No.
follow me or?
I was following you.
Oh, okay.
I was following you probably for like a year, maybe a little bit less. Obviously bought Dropship Lifestyle. And then I came out here. And then that's when I was on your Instagram the day I got here, and that's how that all happened.
Oh, okay. That's cool. At first I was like, oh, maybe I'll just some random Instagram you had found.
Like to find you on like some digital nomad hashtag or something?
Yeah.
No.
But I think what's cool about Chiang Mai is that continues to happen, you know,
Right.
and not necessarily just with me, but there's a lot of people now putting together events. It's kind of unfortunate that everyone for some reason chooses to have the event on Friday, like evening. And I'm like, just put it on a different day.
Just any day except Friday, please.
Yeah.
Maybe not Saturday either.
Well, I mean, like, if there's no event on Saturday, that's fine. Go ahead, all right? But the Nomad Coffee Club has been going on for 4 years now.
Wait, so that transition, right?
Yeah.
Like that transition, because you used to run that.
Yeah.
So who's running it now?
So what's really nice is it's community run, where, you know, every time I'm in town, I'll hop out with it. But when I leave, someone else takes over. And the only rules for the Nomad Coffee Club is it meets every Friday between 4 and 7. And there's a different talk every week. And, you know, there's no pitches, there's no selling. It's just someone who wants to share knowledge, you know, someone who's actually successful. So not someone who, you know, just started out, you know, or is some business coach and they've never had a business.
Right.
But just someone who has some kind of knowledge to share, you know, and they just do like a, you know, 30-minute talk or hour talk. And then it's just a way for people to network as well.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really happy actually to see that it continues to run even when I'm not here. Not because I get anything out of it. It's always been free, but it's a way, first off, to get people together, especially new people who just arrived. They haven't met their business partners yet. They haven't met Nomad friends yet.
Right.
And just, I like having it be something like a reason to come to Chiang Mai and a reason to stay in Chiang Mai.
Yeah, it's almost like a legacy thing, right, for you. I mean, like you started that thing and now it's kind of like running on its own, which is pretty sweet. I think I remember going to like when I first arrived, I went to one and, I mean, you get exposed to like a lot of ideas out here. You know, there's like a lot of people from a lot of different places with a lot of different, crazy ideas. And I think the first one I went to was a little like too woo-woo for me. It was like a guy who was like telepathic or something like that. And it kind of was like, I was like, what? Like, is that what this is all like? Is that what happens here? But then I've been to some others and it's like how to sell your business, how to scale your business, how to use digital, social media marketing to grow your business, stuff like that. So like really helpful things.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that woo-woo one. I definitely didn't approve that one.
Do you remember?
I don't remember it. I don't know if was I there?
I don't even know if I want to say the name, but I feel like I remember the name.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it was Alistar or Aliston, something like that.
Was it a guy or a girl?
It was a dude who he could like cure like disease and stuff.
What?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah,
dude. Must not have been there.
Maybe you weren't there. I don't know. It was a little bit. Yeah, it was like a little bit left field for me, and it was like it was the first one I went to, so I was a little confused.
Yeah.
But like people, like there was a guy in the crowd. He's like, I worked in Wall Street, and he's like, whenever you hear something that's too good to be true, it probably is. Like people were like not feeling it. So
okay,
it was an interesting day.
Yeah, well, it sounds like something that probably happens in Bali every week.
Exactly. Definitely happens in Bali.
Actually, so the number one thing I don't like about Bali is people there are a bit too supportive.
Okay.
Which doesn't sound like a bad thing, but it's a bad thing if you have terrible ideas, but people support you anyways.
Like people are not, they just don't have the guts to tell you like your idea sucks.
No, it's just that, I think it's that the reason why people go to Bali is it's because it's super woo-woo, super spiritual, super encouraging, super safe space. So let's say, you're this woo-woo guy and you're like, wow, this idea, I think I'm telepathic and I want to be a telepathic business coach and tell people their future. And even if this guy had never had a business in his life,
right,
probably isn't actually telepathic, right?
Right.
To be honest, everyone there would say, that's a great idea. You should own your you. You deserve it. You're amazing. Like, you should package this with my colonic course.
Yeah, we could upsell it together.
Then let's just take really beautiful, let's go take really beautiful photos around Bali and,
right,
get a bunch of followers on Instagram. Then we can sell this thing. And that's kind of just like, and when I was in Bali, I was like, is everyone insane? like, this is your business plan? And I'm actually surprised that happened at the Nomad Coffee Club because, like, I think out of hundreds of talks, even though I wasn't there every week, like from what they normally try to keep it pretty realistic,
businessy,
like here's a skill you can learn. This is how you design photos using Canva. Okay. This is how you run Facebook ads.
Right.
But I guess every once in a while something slips through. But it's cool because there's the other nomads there that afterwards they can even discuss it and be like, okay, is that actually something like that's a good idea?
Yeah. Aside from the woo-woo stuff of Bali, like I went to Bali and like there's just a couple things I really disliked about it. But there's also like it's obviously beautiful. If you like to surf, it's amazing. But the driving is insane compared to Chiang Mai for sure. And I think like the first time I put my debit card into an ATM machine, I got scammed.
Yeah. Like so many people get scammed. It's literally 1 in 4 people I know get their credit cards or ATM cards cloned. Yeah,
I couldn't withdraw cash. I had to borrow cash from a friend, I think. Cause I went down there for the dropshipping conference, right? I think we were there together actually.
Yeah, and the thing that really annoys me the most even is when bad things do happen, people say, oh, this is so nice. It's a gift from Mother Bali to remind you that money isn't important or to make connections with your friends.
Like, no, dude, you got scammed. It sucks.
Or if you get into a bike accident, same thing, right?
Really?
Like everyone's like, oh, this is fate telling to slow down, to not work, to value life more.
Right.
And what, maybe all that is true, right?
Yeah, maybe.
But it's also like, are you guys serious? Like this is the way that you look at life is everything, all these bad things happen, but because it's so beautiful, you just make excuses on why Mother Bali is providing.
Well, I saw like this guy's YouTube channel I follow and they have, their villa got robbed and they were building out like this big podcast thing. And then all their cameras, all their mics got stolen. Right. And they were like, they said exactly kind of what you said. Like, this is a gift. We have to get back to our roots and just use like iPhones.
Yeah.
And like go back to how we started. Yeah. Go back to our regular selves.
On paper.
Yeah.
And actually the thing that happened just very recently, there was this girl who was all over Facebook because she gone missing. And she was British, so there was like some British I don't know what it is. It's like a nonprofit or something for missing people in like around the world, travelers. And they made this big campaign. They spread it everywhere. Her mom, was crying and saying like, find my daughter. Like we haven't spoken to her in 14 days. And it was like a really big deal. All right. Everybody's freaking out. I was looking for her. People were driving around the island, like trying to find her. 2 weeks later, someone finds her.
Okay.
Sitting in a hostel.
Okay. Just drinking a beer.
Like literally just hanging out. And they're like, oh my God, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I've been doing yoga. I've been finding myself. It's been the nicest 2 weeks. I decided to do a digital detox after getting robbed of my stuff. And
so she got robbed, didn't check in with anyone.
Yes.
And then decided to do the detox.
Exactly.
I'm all for a digital detox. I think it's cool.
I think it is good, but
Yeah.
you gotta like let
people know.
your mom know, like, hey, you know, I'm not gonna be able to respond to you for the next 2 weeks because people are gonna worry.
You just have to post like on
One thing.
Facebook. Just
One
on
thing.
Facebook.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Just one message.
I don't even think today if that's the best move because most people's moms aren't on the internet, or if they are, they're very minimally on the
But at
internet.
least somebody would tell them, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I remember I went to do a 10-day silent meditation.
Wow.
And to be honest, I understand where she's coming from because when I was going to do it, I was like, you know what? I don't want to explain to anyone why I'm doing this. Like, I need this so bad. I just need to get offline. But at least I was smart enough to make a blog post on my personal blog, which is public to everyone. Like, hey, I'm going to be off for the next 10 days. I'm going to do this meditation.
Where did you do it?
It was Wat Suan Doc, I think, in the south of Thailand somewhere. No, not here. Actually, I got the name probably wrong, but it's...
Swan Doc is definitely here.
Yeah, okay. It's a different one.
Yeah.
Some temple in the forest in the south of Thailand.
Like on an island?
No. It was in the middle of the forest, just like Suratani somewhere.
Cool.
And I remember thinking, crap, I should have called my parents, you know? So I think actually on the 4th day or something, I ended up going and emailing them to say, hey, just to let you know I'm okay.
So you broke your 10-day silence. It's okay. It was necessary.
Yeah. But then also, luckily, my cousin had read it, you know, because he reads my blog, and he had told my mom and my sister. But so I understand how this happened. So I don't want to just blame, you know, young kind of I don't want to call them stupid people, but like
they're finding themselves.
Yeah,
really.
you know. So I understand like the way that it goes through. The problem is once you mess up, you have to learn from that mistake.
Sure.
And the problem with Bali is I feel like no one learns from mistakes. They just think that, you know, everything is so easy and perfect. Like, for example, when this girl finally got found, she wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for all the money and tears that were spent trying to find me. I'm sorry that you guys are worried. She's like, oh, what's the big deal? I've been fine. I've just been hanging out.
Right.
Until this day, she never apologized to anyone. And I knew this girl personally.
Oh, really? Is she still in Bali?
Probably. I unfriended her.
You're like, I don't know. She hasn't posted in a long time.
Yeah, no, like she like literally. I read the first week. You know, I saw everyone saying, "Oh my God, I'm glad you're okay." Blah, blah, blah.
Right. Interesting.
And she never once posted like that. That was stupid of me.
Right.
That she was like, oh, it was a gift from Mother Bali.
So wait, is she like? So she's a full-time. She wasn't just a traveler. She's like a digital nomad type.
Yeah,
person?
pretty much.
Okay.
She's I think her title is a freedom and life coach or something.
Yeah, that sounds like Bali, man. That definitely sounds like Bali, for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know. Okay, so this is why I like Chiang Mai is people are a little bit more grounded down to earth here. There's still a big yoga scene. There's still like a vegan scene. There's still like all, you know, kind of like touching on the, I don't want to say woo side, but like spiritual side, right?
Absolutely.
But at the same time, people also realize like, hey, we need to make money. Also, if something bad happens, like we get robbed or something gets stolen, like that's an issue that we should make sure it doesn't happen to the next person.
But do you know of one person who got robbed here? Like one?
I don't know anybody who's ever been robbed in Chiang Mai. I'm sure bad things happen. It's a big city. You know, there's a million people that come in and out. But the fact that I've been here for, 6 years and I've never had any crime myself, and I've never even known anyone personally who's had any crime. Like, this is what I like about Chiang Mai so much.
I wonder if I wonder if we're sheltered from it as nomads or as people, expats or whatever, that we're just like unaware, or if it's actually low. I almost like ignorantly don't want to know. I think like I've been here since 2016. I saw the other day, ironically, I was driving on my motorbike past Taipei Gate, which is like center of like, there's two centers, but that's one of the centers, I'd say. And I saw these 4 guys like fighting one guy, and at first it looked like they were just playing around, but then like the guy broke out from them, and yeah, they were like literally fighting, and that was the first time. And that might sound intense to somebody listening, like, oh my God, Thailand's unsafe or something, but like I'm from Toronto, like, which is like known as one of the safest big cities in the world, and I've seen some fucked up shit there. So
I mean, things definitely happen here, but it's so rare.
Can we swear?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was trying to hold that in for a while.
So I mean, like, I don't want people to think that Chiang Mai or Thailand in general is this haven, right? Because there's nowhere in the world that is, Maybe if you live in a 30-person community in the middle of Alaska,
Yeah.
But overall, it's extremely safe here.
I honestly, in like That's such a big factor for me, like when choosing a place now, right? Like I've been lucky enough that I have the ability to kind of choose a place at this point through my journey. And if people know me personally, like safety is such a big thing for me. I like the feeling of like knowing that I don't have to like look over my back as I go to the ATM. So Chiang Mai just completely fills that need for me, like 100%.
Yeah, I do like that. And, you know, even though I'm okay, you know, like, I like to think I have a pretty good head on my shoulders. I've been traveling a lot. So I tend not to get robbed or scammed as much as, like, let's say a completely new traveler.
Yeah.
But even the fact that I have to just keep my guard up, it's annoying. Like,
that's exactly the feeling, right? Because just the fact that you have to keep your guard up is energy that you're expelling. I think I was in Nicaragua, and I was just wearing like a New York Yankees hat. And some kid like on a bike just ran up on the bike and took it directly off my head. Kind of funny. But
or like back. When I was in Vietnam, I would have to put my back against a wall and use two hands to use my cell phone.
Oh, it's not worth it for me to live like that. I could probably do it for a week.
Yeah.
And like go visit a place, but to live, it's not for me, brother.
Annoying,
no,
right?
It's not for me, brother.
Annoying. Or like, you know, you have to go to you have to go super out of your way to go to specific ATMs in Bali just not to get your card cloned. Because if you go to any of the ones that are like near the beach, like you have such a high chance of getting cloned.
Wow.
And people are like, oh, who cares? That's just the way it is. And you're like, are you guys insane? Like, you think that's okay to like go that much out of your way every day?
Right.
Especially like weird stuff. Like, if you rent like a villa in Bali, people love their villa photos and it looks great.
I mean, it is aesthetically like beautiful. Like, beautiful. Let's not kid ourselves here. It's much more like picturesque than Chiang Mai, in my opinion.
Yeah. But first off, they're always annoying as crap to get to. You have to ride a motorbike through like some rice paddy, which sounds fun, but it's annoying.
Right.
You know, and it's also normally pretty dangerous, you know, at night to ride through these small roads. People like, there's literally this ditch that people in Canggu that people fall off every month. And they like seriously hurt
Wait, are we
themselves.
talking about that like short little road that cuts through the place? I've seen a car on the side of the edge of that thing. Yeah.
Like people die there, you know, especially because it's the only way to get from not even one side to the other, just like one street to the other, unless you want to go 30 minutes out of your way.
Why doesn't somebody make that a bit wider?
I don't know. They just don't think about it. It's just like, whatever.
It would really change the quality of life.
I know. But just the fact that people accept it and they kind of laugh about it, saying, oh, I'm like, are you guys serious? Like, you think it's normal to drive drunk through that at night, pitch black? And like, yeah, I guess nothing happens to you most of the time.
Right.
But is it worth it when it does happen?
But there are things about Chiang Mai though that, you know, you could like, it's not perfect. There's, you know, like police checkpoints if you don't have a license, if you didn't like think ahead and get like an international driver's license, you're probably going to get a bit of a fine when you're driving through. There's annoying things here. It's overall.
And we have options here too. Like, for example, this year, I don't have a bike at all.
Oh yeah, you were saying that, man.
So I'm walking everywhere. I'm taking Grab everywhere.
Right.
And sometimes I'm like, it would be more convenient to ride a scooter.
So that's just for straight up safety at this point?
A lot of it is.
Wow.
And, you know, I mean, part of it is, I mean, I guess it's a lot of things, but it's definitely safety. I would say, you know, maybe now I'm like getting older.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking, man, I did so many stupid things. Like, for the last 10 years, you know, I've never had a motorcycle license.
Really?
So I don't know if my travel insurance would even cover it because, like, if you're not legally allowed to drive, like, who knows if they'll cover it?
I got the license.
Yeah,
I got the Thai license. Yeah.
And if I was staying here longer, it's going to be year round, I would actually go through the process.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I'm here for 2 months. I'm not going to go through that process.
Right.
And there's options. You know, I can just live in the city center and just walk to most places, or I can just spend $4 and take a taxi.
It's like ridiculously cheap, but I'm like the opposite. I just bought another motorcycle. I have two.
Okay.
So I'm like committed.
Yeah.
But I think like long term, I said to like my business partners, like if you want to live here long term, and I'm not talking about a year to 3. I mean like if you want to make this your base for a decade. I mean, obviously we can't plan that far ahead. Long term safety, I need a car. You know what I mean?
And you know what? And that's the thing about Chiang Mai now, or Thailand, is more and more people have cars and less scooters, which actually makes it more necessary to have a car because everyone else has a scooter.
Right.
I mean, because there's less and less scooters. So, I don't know. Like, a big reason why I love Thailand is that freedom and flexibility of just being able to walk everywhere, take a scooter everywhere.
Yeah.
But as I was thinking, it's like, if I need a car, then I almost might as well be somewhere else.
In LA or San Francisco or something. True.
You know? Yeah, but it's been an interesting place. And what's cool is a lot of people I've noticed are kind of like you. They're thinking longer term of just settling down here. Like you've traveled, you know, I would say most people who've decided to settle down here have traveled a lot.
Yeah,
right?
I think I've traveled quite a bit for sure.
But what made you decide like, okay, I want to live here. This is my roots.
Yeah, so I mean, coming here in 2016, I didn't have any intention to stay long term. I don't even think I was actually thinking long term. Actually, the original dream was to live on the beach, right? Like
that's everyone's dream.
And I think that's what it was. And it wasn't even like looking back on it, it wasn't that I wanted to live on the beach. I just didn't want to go to work. And I think a lot of people picture the beach, like, you know, you go on a vacation for a week, like an all-inclusive of Mexico, or like Canadians, we go to like Cuba. And then like you have like this great week there at the beach and you associate that with freedom. And, so I think, so I came here into Chiang Mai and then I went to Koh Lanta and I was like, hey, I made it. Like I got a business on a laptop. I'm living on the beach. This is perfect. And then like 3 days in, I'm like, fuck this, dude. I don't want to live on a beach. And then it made me realize, like, imagine the people that work all their lives until they're 65 and then retire to like Mexico. And then they get there like a week later, they're like, I miss my city, or I like something different. So like I discovered pretty quickly that I didn't want to live on a beach forever. Now I still go to the beach for a vacation, but I just don't want to make that home.
That's actually really, really interesting because this is why Tim Ferriss talked about the mini retirements or like a trial retirement. He's like, it's insane to work 40 years just to find out that that's not what you want.
Yeah, 100%, man. So I came to Chiang Mai and I'm from the city, like Toronto. So it's a pretty flat city. Whereas Chiang Mai is like, shout out to the Six.
The Six.
Shout out to everybody in the Six. I knew that was going to come up at some point in this conversation.
Okay, but on that point, I also thought I wanted to live not just on a beach, I wanted to be on a small island.
Like Koh Lanta, where we hung out.
And my passion or my desire was so strong that I remember when I had a corporate job in the US.
Okay.
And anytime I would fly anywhere for work or for even just for whatever, I would just daydream about my plane crashing.
What?
Because this was when Lost had just come out.
Like Castaway style?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, how nice would it be if this plane just crashed?
What? Dude?
And I just had to live on this small deserted island for the rest of my life. I remember just that being like a vivid fantasy, just like a hope.
That's kind of dark, dude.
Well, it was more like I was so unhappy with my normal life living in LA that I was like, how magical would that be, right?
Right.
Like, especially, and this was like season 1 of Lost, where it was still fun. Like, this is before the monsters came and just started killing everyone. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool, right? And I remember when I first started, traveling, I lived on small islands. I lived on Koh Tao for a year. I lived on like Koh Lanta for a year. Then I lived in the Caribbean for a year. Then I lived in Malbul in Borneo for a year.
I don't even know where that is, man.
Is
that in Malaysia?
Small. Yeah.
Malaysia, right? Okay.
And it's so small that you can just walk around the whole island in 30 minutes and there's no cars or anything.
I think you actually get island fever.
Oh yeah.
Like in Koh Lanta, I got island fever, and it's a small island, but it's still pretty big.
It still takes a couple hours from north to south to drive, like 2 hours.
And like, it just wasn't for me, man. Like, and also like, it's not like I just came to Thailand and only stayed in Asia. I mean, I lived in Berlin for a month. I lived in Budapest for a month. I lived in Morocco for a month, man. Like 10 of us met here. We did like a little like Nomad crew thing where we rented out a riad in Morocco, which was pretty dope. But yeah, actually Morocco is the only place I've ever had real culture shock. Like the second day in, I just walked into a KFC and like got a Pepsi and hung out.
That's actually pretty funny.
It was crazy, man. Yeah. It was like snakes everywhere and it's messed up. But it was a good experience. But yeah, so.
Well, wait, why'd you guys choose Morocco?
Okay, so we met this guy, named Luke, who became like a really good friend of mine. And we were all like at a bar one night and he was like, you guys are cool. Like, we should all go to Morocco for a month. And like people like always say, like, they'll throw out, we should go to like Hawaii or we should go here. And everybody's like, yeah, whatever. He actually planned it. We put money down and we all did it. It was crazy. It was like one of the best experiences, like looking back. Never want to do that again though.
Was he from Morocco?
He's a Moroccan dude. He wasn't, we went to Marrakesh, which is like a pretty touristy city. Yeah. He's from the capital, Rabat. But we had a really cool experience. I was with like Chris and all these other people. But yeah, that was a one-time like Nomad crew event thing. And I think that was enough for me.
I think that actually happens a lot here. that people come, they literally come solo. They don't know anyone. And then within the first couple of weeks in Chiang Mai, they meet their crew, their lifelong crew.
That's the craziest thing, because right when that lunch, man, from the second day I was here.
From an Instagram
comment. 3 of the people that are like in my top 5 I met that day.
That's crazy.
Like my expat.
Group,
my core group of people, like, and now like, so those are my 2 business partners, who are husband and wife, Nick and Steph. So going back to one of the reasons why I picked Chiang Mai is that they've based in Chiang Mai, and I've really committed to this new business that we're running. So like I've committed to, I said I would commit to a year, back in July, and now I'm going to commit to probably another year, and even like long term, might even look at the Thai elite visa.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So Nick and Steph have both been on the podcast, and they're a great like example of a couple who's been here for a long time, and they just love it. You know, they rented a big house, so they have like a normal life now. Like,
they have a beautiful house.
Yeah, we actually spent Christmas there.
Yeah, we did. My mom was there too.
Yeah, and your sister.
And my sister. Yeah, crazy.
And, yeah, so it was really nice, and it's so different than kind of what my nomad life was like 5-6 years ago. Right?
For sure.
And I think a lot of people, like, there's so many people now that I know from 5-6 years ago who now basically have a house here, you know, and maybe they're not going to like the meetups every week anymore because they have their crew, you know, the crew friends, they have their business, they have like a nice place, and they're here long term.
I think people are craving like a little bit of a home base. Like craving a home base, man. Like, it's funny, you know, I feel like this is, a lot of people say this when I started buying a lot of stuff. Like I have an espresso machine over there, like a nice speaker.
You have a Versace robe.
I got a funny story about that Versace robe.
Please tell me about that.
Okay, cool. I was actually in Pun Space on the second floor, and there was a guy sitting across the table from me, and he had like a sticker like a Canadian flag sticker. So I was like, yo, bro, are you Canadian? And he's like, yeah. I mean, why else would he have one of those on there? And he's become a really good friend of mine. But at the time he was like, yeah, I just came out here traveling. My last business failed. I don't know what to do. I'm making these themes for like, I don't even know, Shopify or something. And I was like, dude, if I could give you one piece of advice, like whatever you do, pick one thing and don't change it until it works, or work your ass off. Don't stop flip-flopping. And he knew that I was doing e-commerce. And then a year later, I saw him again in Chiang Mai, and he's like, dude, do you remember when you said that to me? Yeah, I've been making like 15 grand a month with Instagram influencers, and I just really want to thank you. And that was that. And then he's like, but I'm doing it. So back in the day when people were like shouting out, like paying people to shout out products on Instagram with Instagram influencers, before it was expensive, it was like $10, $20 a shout out. Now it can be so expensive.
Yeah, that'd be thousands or $10,000.
But he came here, and he's with the intention. He's like, it's all great. Like I have a team and a system, but I can't scale. So I want to learn Facebook ads. So he bought a course on how to learn Facebook ads. And I was like, cool. So we started working in a coffee shop every day together, became really close. And then I bought another course on Facebook ads. And I was like, dude, you like have this course, right? Like you can use it while I use it. I just wasn't so serious about it because that wasn't the business model that I was like into, that was working for me at the time. And then I found this product, and I was like, dude, I think you should do this product. And, he ended up like killing it, like with that one product. I think he made like, in 6 months, 200 or 300K.
Nice.
And then he sold one of the last, so it was like AliExpress style dropshipping. He sold like one of the last AliExpress dropshipping stores that Empire Flippers allowed. And I think he's exited for like $450,000.
Nice.
And like along that journey, we would talk about like, he like flashy Asian dude, like he likes Gucci and all that stuff. And I'm not really, you know, like those, so he's like, so I basically said to him, like, you always have all this cool stuff. I really, really love the show Sopranos. Like, it's my favorite show. And if I ever was going to buy something that was flashy, there's this one scene where Tony Soprano goes on a private jet, and then he gets to Vegas, and in the Vegas, like, hotel room, he's wearing a Versace robe. And I'm like, that's the one thing I would ever get. And then, he asked me what my address was randomly. I didn't think anything of it. And then when I got back to Toronto, after traveling, there was a big Versace box in my house.
Insane, yeah.
So I literally travel with this thing. It's like really dope for me. I really like it.
Dope.
It's ridiculous.
Right, so
it's ridiculous.
Just to describe it.
It's okay. It's like a black and gold Versace robe that actually, if you touch it, isn't as luxurious as you think it is. It kind of just feels like a towel,
Like it's a robe.
It's a robe,
but
yeah. But it's got like that gold flex. Like, honestly, I think then him and I did another little business together that we were pretty successful with. So, yo, Brandon, if you're listening, I want the matching slippers too.
Oh,
so.
that'd be dope.
Yeah,
man.
thank you.
Yeah, make sure they're mink. No, please don't kill anything. But yeah, it's dope. It has, the word Versace literally just like from a mile away. You could
it's the loudest thing.
You have no idea.
It's the loudest thing that I own. If anybody knows me, I wear a lot of black.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely loud.
So if you guys can picture Rick Ross in a Versace robe, that's one Philip has.
I wake up, I turn on my espresso machine, and I put on my robe on for like 10 minutes every morning, and that's my morning routine. I don't take a cold shower. None of that.
Just that coffee in the Versace. So as much as I like it, please do not send me a Versace robe if you guys are listening, because I don't want to travel with it.
You can please send it to me.
Yeah.
Send it to Johnny. He'll pass it to me.
Yeah. Actually, what's funny is a lot of people like try to like get me stuff.
Really?
Or just like either as like a thank you, but also just like they have a product and they're like, oh yeah, like here's one. And I'm always like, I appreciate it, but like, I'm not going to travel with it. Like,
I'm not shouting you out.
Yeah. Well, if it's something I like, I'll use anyways. I'll shout out. Like, I would have shouted them out for free anyways.
Right.
But I guess by them sending me the product, then I could show the product, and like if I actually use it, then I'll probably talk about it just naturally, right?
Yeah.
But I've been the opposite of you, where instead of having home base and having more stuff, I've been traveling carry-on only for the last year. So I've downgraded everything, my clothes, my just like stuff I have, and for me, in kind of what I like in life, I think it's been the best thing ever.
I know your story, man. Obviously, like I followed you for a long time. And I think the difference between you and I is that I remember you always said like you liked America had the convenience of Amazon where you could just like do 2 clicks or 1 click and you get like things in your house that you don't need. So you had a house and you had things. I've never had that. Like I was broke my whole life, right? Like I after I went to university, like I moved back into my mom's house. I never had my own apartment. I had like I had roommates in university, but like it wasn't like my place. So this is like the first time where I'm like claiming my space.
Yeah. And this is a nice spot. So we're in the middle of Neiman, which is like the cool area in Chiang Mai where I like to stay, where all the coffee shops and co-working spaces are. And he has a nice 1-bedroom, in the nicest building with a nice pool, a nice gym, a sauna. All of which I use every weekend.
I love it. Johnny's just hanging out at the pool. It's great.
Yeah, I use that pool more than you do, I'm sure.
Definitely. And I think like anybody can, as long as you just kind of like own it.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Nah.
The security's really tight here.
Yeah. No, I like, and luckily I have a couple of friends who actually stay here. So like to get into the sauna, you need the, what do you call it? Little ID chip.
That's actually one of the biggest factors of this place. Like sauna, I incorporated sauna into my life, 3 to 4 times a week. 15 minutes to 20 minutes, like it really like elevates life, man. Yeah. It's a really game changer.
I think it's super healthy. And then to get into like the cold pool.
Yeah, man. If this place had a cold plunge, like a cold plunge pool in the place where the sauna was, it would be like my perfect building. You
could just take a cold shower. It's not
the same. I'm talking about like icy.
Yeah. But actually, what was nice is in early December, that pool was a cold plunge.
What? Oh, it was freezing here.
Yeah.
Like it was really. I bought my Canadian friends would make fun of me, but I bought a toque one night.
Oh man.
It was 7 or 8 degrees here, and I bought a toque, and I wore it for like an hour, and then I'm like, this is ridiculous.
So for the Americans, a toque is what, a beanie?
Wait, you guys don't say the word toque in America?
Definitely not.
Damn. Yeah, it's a winter hat. It's basically a winter hat.
Yeah. So yeah, you're walking around in Thailand and
I was driving around with a toque and a helmet.
And then a jacket, or what were you wearing?
Maybe a sweater and a jacket.
Wow.
I've like climatized, man. One thing, like growing up in Canada, I never, again, like as I said, like my mom's from England and my dad's from Uruguay. I'm like the least typical Canadian of all time. I don't ski. I don't snowboard. I don't play hockey. I don't even like playing in the snow. So like I always wanted to live in a warm climate, man. Like ever since I was a kid, when you were a kid and like you get like a birthday cake and they would be like, hey Johnny, like blow your candles and make a wish. Like I kid you not, dude. Like I every year wished that we had a swimming pool.
Oh, nice.
So like the first time when I first came out here, I was living in Ban Thai. Do you know it? Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, shout out to Ban Thai.
Okay.
Because it's one of those places where everyone I've known has stayed there for months.
It's important.
Nobody I've known has stayed there for a second month.
It's important on the journey though.
But it's kind of like, that's the spot you gotta go the first time to come to Chiang Mai.
But dude, like back in the day, it was 2016. I think I paid 5,000 baht, right?
Dude, now it's only like 5,500, so it's not that much more.
Wow, that's crazy.
So in dollars, it's like $200, maybe 250 or something.
Right.
For I think it might be 6,000 something baht, but like whatever it is, it's like maximum it's $250 a month.
But like what it has is a pool, and it's a pretty nice pool.
It's a pretty big pool,
and it's in the middle of Niman, right?
Yeah,
and like that's
like the best possible location,
dude. Like honestly, I swear to God, like that symbolized like success for me. Like it was the first time I literally felt like, whoa, I got a pool. Like, and ever since then, like. I just want to keep living in places with pools until I can like buy my own place with my own pool. Like it's very symbolic for me, man. Very symbolic.
I can see that, and I'm proud of you for making that leap.
Yeah, thank you, man.
And
been
also,
a long journey.
It's cool that you discovered this life hack because let's say you wanted to stay in the 6 and the T dot, the Toronto. Okay. How much money would you have to make or save up to be able to live somewhere with a pool?
Live somewhere with a pool. It probably was not even on my radar. I think now if I went back, I could probably like swing an Airbnb for a month. But if you had a 12-month lease, I don't know, dude. I've been out of the game for so long in terms of that. Like I think at least $3,000 for where I would want to live. That's probably Canadian dollars, maybe $2,500 to $3,000 for like a studio downtown maybe, or like a small 1-bedroom.
Yeah.
But if you want like a nice place, like the equivalent of this would be like 5 to 7. I don't know.
It's
something
insane.
like that. But this is an extremely expensive city.
Yeah.
Like Toronto, Vancouver.
But there's a lot
expensive.
of people who live in these cities, not just in Canada, but the US or in Australia or, in London or in the UK that are spending a couple grand a month just to live. And it's probably a good life, right? But they're probably working a lot to cover it. They're probably not saving as much money as they should be.
Yeah.
They're probably more stressed than they should be.
Do you think though, like, it's just kind of like, I think it's just kind of like lucky. Like there's just like a lot of luck involved in this whole like discovering this lifestyle, man. Like after I graduated from university, I like had to move back in with my mom, and I had like no idea what I was going to do. I couldn't get a job. I was like working, my dad installs windows for a living. So I was working with him, like helping him install windows. And I was like, I think I was doing retail arbitrage at the time. And I just, the only reason why that happened to me is because I came back to Toronto. I was living in another city, Montreal, and my friend was like, all my friends were gone. I'd been gone for 5 years. He's like, dude, come out, like join the sports team with me, and then you'll meet all these friends. And the first night he's like, dude, I can't make it. I can't pick you up. And his buddy picked me up, and he told me that he was doing this thing called like dropship domination, which was like retail arbitrage. And then that like led me into the dropshipping, and then to diversify, I like looked into like, I was selling all these products, but I wasn't selling any particular brand. I was selling anything. I'm like, how do I sell these actual brands? Like, how do I get into these brands? And that's when I discovered you and Anton.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's kind of like really weird. Like it's lucky that this happened to me, right? It's kind of lucky, a very lucky thing for sure.
But I think that's actually why I've been so passionate about having the podcast, having my blog, and just spreading the word that this is possible. So like not only showing people how to do it, but also interviewing people who have done it themselves to really show people like, hey, if, this Canadian guy, can do it. Like if you're, someone from Canada in a similar situation, so can you, like your dream, might be different than ours, right? It might not be to crash on an island and live there, or might not be to own a pool, but I'm sure you have your own dream that you're like, yeah, if one day I can do that, I'll be happy. And what, sharing these stories and really shows is it's probably possible now. Right? Everybody, you can afford a $250 a month apartment. If that's your goal, is like, I want to live somewhere with a pool, like instead of waiting and try to get a place that's $4,000 a month, which might take a while, might be really hard. It maybe take you the rest of your life to even like save up for that. Yeah. Like just location arbitrage it, right? And you can live here, and maybe you're not going to want to stay at Ban Thai for more than a month, because then you realize
definitely not.
So to talk crap about Ban Thai, the reason why no one stays for more than a month is the rooms itself are just like so sterile. They're
depressing. It's almost like a hospital room.
Yeah, it's just an all white room. Yeah. And the beds, like not the best. There's no like...
It's a very Thai bed.
Yeah, there's nothing there. There's no like... I mean, I guess you could go in and like perk it up and make it look
soulless,
nice. But it's soulless. It's just a room.
Yeah.
Versus for the same amount of money, you can go somewhere that feels more like a home. But the reason why I recommend it is perfect location. It's great value. They do month to month. They always have available rooms. So even if you don't book events, you can just show up and get a place for a month.
Yeah.
And it's mainly because everyone leaves every other month.
Yeah.
But it just like that just shows the convenience and value of Chiang Mai.
Right. And it's crazy. Like, I think a big thing that people that are starting out or like just unhappy with life in general is that they see like freedom. And I did too, like as like a beach or like as a Ferrari. When all you really need to do is think about the lifestyle you want and then put a dollar amount on it and work backwards. That's it. Because if you put the goal too big, I want to be a millionaire. It's like, what does that even mean? Why do you want to be a millionaire? When you actually only need to have like $80,000 a year or 40,000 or 100, whatever it is. People just don't define what they need. Yeah. And I think that's been one of the biggest like learning lessons for me.
Yeah, I like that. And it's not that you can't then work to be a millionaire, but why not be happy today? Because if you're happy today, you probably have the energy and the discipline to actually hit those bigger goals. So if you can be happy now and spend, $1,000 a month living in Chiang Mai while working on your business, your chances of becoming a millionaire are actually higher than if you were spending $4,000 a month and unhappy, in a big city.
Well, I think what it does though is like when I was living in, in my mom's house and like thinking of like dreaming about the beach, it's not that I wanted the beach. I guess I did, but I was just unhappy, right? Once you get the things that you thought would make you happy and then maybe it doesn't make you happy, then you have the opportunity to really begin to work on yourself, right? And like really find out what you like and what you don't like. But if you're just like every day going to an office you hate, you can blame your shitty feelings on that, right? Like you can blame your shitty feelings on your family or your shitty friends, right? But like when you take all that away, right? Like when you move away from your family, when you move away from your friends, and then you move away from your shitty job, and now you're making $1,000 or $2,000 a month and you're like, okay, this is great, but like, I don't feel as great as I did maybe, then you can actually begin to like figure out what your problems are. And that's been a big part of my journey too. Like figuring out what I like and what I don't like. Like I become a lot more selfish about like how I want to live my life. Like I used to do things that I don't want to do. And now honestly, like I just don't. It's a very few things. And that's been actually the biggest challenge because like I flew out my family here. And it's the first time in 4 years that I've had to like be on someone else's schedule. And it's like fucking with me a little bit. But yeah, like I've realized like what I like and what I don't like. And yeah, it's been quite the journey, man.
Yeah, I like that. I think most of the time we never have the time or the even opportunity to even discover what we like and what we don't like. Because we're just so busy doing what we need to do, what we're supposed to do. I mean, our whole lives has been like, okay, you got to go to elementary school so you can get to middle school. Then you got to go to middle school so you can go to high school. You got to go to high school so you can go to college. You got to go to college so you can get a master's or you can get a job. And then you got to buy.
You better get your wife too.
Yeah. Then you got to get married. You got to have kids. You got to buy a house. Then you got to renovate the house. Then you got to get a bigger house.
Yeah.
And it's like all of a sudden, you're old and you realize, like, I don't even know who I am.
Damn.
Like,
that's some dark shit too.
And we're lucky that we found this early. And this is why I push this so hard, Like, I want you guys to realize, like, it's possible now. It's not easy.
Nothing's easy. It's definitely, you have to go through some stuff, man. You have to go through the dirt. Like, let's not kid ourselves. There is a journey in so many ways. Yeah.
But it's possible, and now I've literally met thousands of people, even just here in Chiang Mai, who have done it.
Yeah. That's what's great about you, man. Like, you're a connector for everyone, right? And you get to see people in a way grow, right? Because you might see a guy or a girl, and then 2 years later you'll see them in a different city, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that." And when you met them, they were just starting, and that must be like fulfilling in a way for you, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. And what's funny is pretty much everyone I see again, they're better off than they were before. And even the few people that I know who have like moved back home for whatever reason, they're actually happy that they tried it for a year.
Right. They have no regrets anymore.
I've never met anyone who's like, "Oh man, I wasted a year of my life."
But do you feel like when you meet these, like when you get close to some people and they say, in my experience, you kind of see the people that are still at home in their mind. Do you know what I mean? And there are people like, I never felt at home in Canada. And that, I'm not knocking Canada. It's just, I've never, like, looking back on it, I never felt like I fit in that culture. So.
No, I know what you mean. Cause I felt the same in the US. Like, for example, I mean, part of it is, I grew up as an Asian American. You grew up as kind of a mixed race.
Mixed race, for sure. I don't even know what I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I remember hanging out in school. I was like, all right, I guess I'm hanging out with the Asians because I'm Asian.
Okay.
Right. But first off, everyone in San Francisco, they spoke Cantonese, and I spoke Mandarin, which I didn't realize was actually a more popular language. But in my small world, like, Chinese people spoke Cantonese.
Which is Hong Kong, right?
Which is Hong Kong.
Right.
You know, which is like a really small percentage of the total speakers of Chinese. And I remember telling my parents, like, why'd you teach me Mandarin? It's so useless.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, you speak Mandarin?
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Go to China.
Yeah, I don't want to go to China.
I know, like, let's do some business.
Hey, fuck China.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I love China.
Yeah. On the record, yeah.
China, I love you.
Yeah.
We make a lot of money.
Yeah. I'm sure. You know what's funny is I know for a fact that if I was willing to sell my soul and move to China,
You do well.
I would make so much money.
Right.
And I'd probably have a really good life there.
I bet.
But fuck China.
It's intense, man. When I was there, I went there for the Canton Fair and to meet some suppliers we have. It's like, you know when like you land in the States and like you have passport control? So like if you land in New York, like the government knows you're in New York. But if you take a car to Atlanta, like I'm sure they can like follow a paper trail and find you, but it would take time, right? When you go to a train station in China, they check your passport. On every highway, there's cameras. It's intense, man. Like the tracking there it's next level.
Yeah. And if you've, talked enough shit about China on podcasts like this,
Dude.
like I have, they might not even let me fly like within China. They might be like, all right, you have to take the budget bus, you have to hitchhike because you don't have enough sesame credits to take the fast train. You have to take the slow train.
Damn.
It's insane.
We love you, China.
It's like a Philip on record.
Felipe.
Hello, China.
Yo, I think Chinese food's great and Chinese people are nice, and I actually kind of want to explore the country a little bit, but only with Nick. You know, Nick, he speaks a little bit.
Nick Danforth?
Yeah, Nick and I.
Chinese?
He speaks. They lived out there. It's like he's not fluent or anything, but it's enough to like get a cab. Like even like getting a cab is hard out there. So yeah, I don't want to go alone. I want to go like that's why I said like with you, like dude, like we could go. You could like translate it.
Dude, you know what's funny is I was in Shanghai for a week and I speak fluent Mandarin.
Okay.
Right? Like not at like a high level, but like my accent is like perfect. Right? I'm a native speaker.
Okay.
And I was like, "Sama?" I couldn't understand.
You didn't understand them, or they didn't understand you.
No, they could understand me perfect.
Okay.
I couldn't understand them at all.
Really?
And it's like their crazy accents, crazy slangs, crazy like this. And I'm like, can you slow the fuck down, please? Because like, okay, so I was born, in the U.S., but I've spoken Chinese to my parents my entire life. So accent-wise, I'm pretty much a native speaker, but my vocabulary is not that high, and I've never really practically used it. Right? So I can watch like movies, but I can't necessarily watch like political news or something because that's just not like I just never was exposed to that.
Okay.
And then I would try to explain to people in China, I'm like, look, I'm not I'm American. Like, can you slow down or not use so much slang?
Right.
And they just like could not understand why. They're like, what do you mean? You speak fine. I'm like, I know, but I can't understand what you're saying. And they're like, well, I'm speaking Chinese. And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know, but I feel like that'd be a funny comedy skit, just like that interaction in general.
And they just cannot grasp why they can understand me, but I couldn't understand them. They just they could not fathom that situation.
Damn. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a pretty interesting country, and they're probably going to take over the world. So
I hope
get
not.
used to it.
I really hope not.
We'll
okay,
see.
so business wise, so you started with kind of arbitrage.
Well,
dropshipping,
I've always done I used to sell things on eBay like back in like high school. And then like my original dream was to be like a poker player.
Okay.
So like I like my mom was like, you need to get a job. And I was like 16 and I had like a PokerStars account like under like someone else's name. And I was like, Mom, if I can make $50 a week, can I like play poker? She's like, yes. So I think I somehow like finessed a $50 like check out of PokerStars. Like I won $50 and I literally showed my mom a check. And I was like, and that was that. And then I started reading books on it. And then the minute I became 18, like I signed up for a real account. And then it got really dark because like I got really into it after high school. I took a year off and I think I had like $4,000 or $5,000 like when I was just finished high school. So how old was I? 18 maybe? Something like that. And I thought I was rich. And I found like these underground poker rooms in Toronto because in Toronto we don't have casinos. There's one place called Woodbine that they might have a poker room now. I'm not sure, but they didn't back then. So the Vietnamese, like there's some like gangster Vietnamese guys. Yeah, the gangster Vietnamese guys in Toronto that had like poker rooms. And like I kind of got in this like bad scenario where I was like illegally gambling. And I thought it was cool. I thought it was great. But then like one night, like it was like a really like ghetto place, like on the west end of Toronto where I'm from. These like 5 guys came in like all blindfolded with guns. And they robbed us. Like what they did was pretty fucked up, man.
Wait, they were blindfolded?
No, they had like, they weren't not blindfolded, but they had like bandanas, the bandanas and ski masks, like covering their face,
okay,
right?
So not their eyes.
That would be pretty funny. A bunch of guys walk in like,
they can't see, but they got guns. I was like, that's scary.
That's another thing. Everybody thinks Canada's all, like Toronto, there's some parts that are pretty messed up. But yeah, so they came in with guns and they made us take all our clothes off except our underwear. And there was a guy I was with there that was kind of like hood, so I just followed his lead. They took the diamond earrings and gold chain off of him. The reason why they did that, like in hindsight, was they just wanted to swipe all our cell phones without like easily take all our clothes, but I think they just wanted our wallets, our cell phones, and all that stuff. So yeah, so they gun butted a kid there and then took all the money and then left, and then that was the end of my poker career for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
First they took my rings, then my Rolex. I looked up and said, damn, what's next?
What's next, Dad? And like, it's funny now, but in hindsight, it was the scariest moment of my life, man.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, damn, this could be the end. So like, after that, I still played poker like online and I would play in casinos, but like, I made a pact to myself, like, I'm never going into another illegal gambling house. So then I went to university for like 4 years, and then I started like selling things on eBay, like anything that I could get, and then I started selling like some fake things from China, and I thought I was like Steve Jobs because all my friends were working and I was making like $80 a day and like partying. And then like my eBay account got shut down when I was like in college. So that was the end of that. And then after university, I met a guy who I already told that story, who got me into the dropshipping, like the retail arbitrage. And then, so it's just been like a long progression, man. And then that's when I found Anton and your stuff, and then went into that, I think 2014. I signed up, or 2015, and then I came out here in 2016, and I dedicated to just grow that dropshipping business.
Was that already making money when you were in Canada?
Yeah, so I was actually doing really well with the retail arbitrage, man. I was like making like $7,000 or $8,000 a month.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was doing really well. Like on a highest month, it did like 10 or 11.
That's good.
Yeah,
even in Canada, that's really good.
Yeah, I was doing well, and I remember it got to a point where it was like I was still working with my dad. I like kind of like helping him, and then I got to a point where I just like got there one day. I'm like, look, I love you, but I quit. Yeah. And then
'cause your time is better spent doing something else.
Yeah. And then, but then I didn't like it. I didn't like retail arbitrage. I thought it was like a shitty way of doing business because you're selling things from like this, like Home Depot or Walmart to like Amazon or eBay, right? Like that's what you're doing. And a lot of people still do that today, and people make money, and it's fine. It's completely fine. I just wanted to have like a real dropshipping website where I could like be officially selling XYZ brand.
Authorized dealer and that's where something. Yeah.
Right, that's where I found your stuff. So when I came to Thailand, that particular business was making only $1,000.
Okay.
But
wow, so you had downgraded from making $7,000 or $8,000 a month, knowing that wasn't making you happy. That wasn't a long-term sustainable thing. It's
actually like in hindsight, it's just like I was young and stupid. Like I literally like had an injury, and I tore my ACL. And I had a surgery, and they gave me a bunch of painkillers, and I was hopped up on these painkillers, dude. And they didn't give me enough, or I ate too many of them quickly, and I had like a deep depression.
Oh wow! Okay.
And the minute I had that deep depression, I made like a conscious effort, like a conscious choice. I'm like, one more month of this retail arbitrage, and then I'm going all in on like building my own brand. Yeah. And I'd already planned to go to Thailand, so like that's when I went all in on it, and then. Yeah, it's been just like a long progression now. So
okay, but then so how long did you do kind of like the Anton style of dropshipping?
I still do it.
You still do it now?
I definitely do it.
And
I have 2 websites still rocking, and that's probably since 2015.
Okay.
I still have my original website.
Wow.
And that's a rare thing. Like nobody does. Like, and along the way, I've been copied multiple times by people here.
Oh wow!
Like who people I know.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
It's
that's
like,
so fucked up, right?
Yeah, like it's fucked up, dude.
And that's happened to me before too. And this is why, like, people always complain, like they're like, "Oh, why don't you ever talk about your niche?" And it's because there's a lot of kind of like just low level people out there.
But it's not even low. Like the people that rob my idea, they kill it.
No, I'm not saying low level in skill wise, but like low level thinking wise, like low levels of trust, low levels of
like I'll tell you how bad it was. Like okay, so like I'm looking at a water bottle right now, and it's called Aura Natural. Yeah. So if my website was auranatural.com, they made their website naturalaura.com.
Oh my god,
it was literally like that. It was literally like that. So I think that got shut down pretty quick.
How did they get shut down?
I reached out to one of my suppliers, and I think they were just doing like a dummy test site, and then they didn't accept it.
Lucky.
And yeah, that happened. It happened to another one of my websites, and I saw it right away because I was always checking my ads. I was like so much more paranoid back in the day about all this stuff, and I called the number, right? I called the number, the support number, and I just started asking questions about like a product. And then it's crazy because I knew this guy's voice on the call, and I'm like, yo, and I said his name, and he's like, I'm like, it's Felipe. And this guy was running a Canadian dropshipping Facebook group. I got super aggressive, man. I just said to him, like, listen to me.
I'm gonna come fuck you up.
No, I didn't. Nah.
I would have said that.
I was in Thailand.
I'm gonna fly to Canada
with my Versace robe,
and I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take my hockey stick, shove it up your ass, out through your mouth, and then smack you.
Yeah, maybe, but no, I didn't. I was like, yo, listen to me, bro. I know it's you. I don't know if you knew that this was my website, but this is what you're gonna do. Yeah. You're gonna tell your community what you did, or I will.
Wow.
And he did, and he shut it down.
Nice.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I got fiery, bro.
Yeah,
I got fired up.
Good.
But yeah, so I knew it. Like, so now I look at those businesses. I tried to sell it on Empire Flippers recently, like unsuccessfully, and then
Why didn't it go through?
I think that it was being sold for like six figures, like $350.
Okay.
And I just didn't get a lot of bites. I think that these type of websites aren't as popular as like FBA stores nowadays.
Yeah.
And I think like if you put up a dropshipping site that's like making a K or two and you sell it for 50 or 60, that sells
fast.
like in a minute.
Yeah.
This was kind of a little more specialized.
Yeah.
It was a 2 website deal.
Yeah.
It kind of would take, so the reason why I wanted to sell, cause I'm really focusing on building this other brand. I'm not scared to like say we're like going into the meditation space, which you know of. I'm doing it with people that I love and I care about. It's more like fun now.
Yeah.
So now I'm just looking at the dropshipping sites as like, if they go away, that's cool. They're just a fuel for my life and for the other business.
Yeah, it's just paying off. How much are you making from the dropshipping sites?
I actually ran the number, so it's like around 11K a month.
Nice, dude.
Net,
That's amazing. Okay, so
I'm still building the, like, all that's mainly automated, but there is some other, I still work on it. Like, let's not kid ourselves. I still definitely work on it. But the other stuff that I'm really passionate about is building the brand. And I think that's like a long-term play for sure.
I definitely see that. But you know what's funny is, like, I think everything that we do, like, business-wise, leads us to the next step, right?
Absolutely.
So even like the stuff that you're selling on like eBay, right? Like, even though your account got shut down, I'm assuming what that did was, like, you made a little bit of money from that, so it gave you the confidence. Well, did it? Or?
Well, like, you got to understand, like, when that happened, like, I was doing something I shouldn't have. I was selling things that weren't like real, and I was stupid. I was a kid, and it was only a couple things, and I was just like, I was just stupid and like.
Yeah, but you know what? We all make, like, we all do things that, especially when we're young, that like we probably shouldn't be doing.
I actually look at it like my sisters will always like joke like Felipe is like this sketchy dude who like makes money on the internet, right? Yeah. Like, my life has been a progression of like going from like, like everything I do is like less sketchy. So like retail arbitrage is still like slightly sketchy in a way, but it's not. It's like completely legal. Like, everything's legal, but like then it's like building your own, like selling other people's brands. And now I'm like finally like making a brand, and I'm not just selling a throwaway product. Like I'm actually like, we're selling products that help people meditate. Yeah. So I like business and I wanted to get into meditation. So I kind of like scratch 2 itches at the same time, and I'm building it with people that I love and care about. So it's kind of like in a city that I just love. So it's kind of like all 4 things are kind of like working harmoniously,
I love it. But it's us learning and growing and maturing.
Absolutely, man.
And the thing is, I mean, we can like to shut down our past and say like, oh, I wish I never would have done that, or it's embarrassing, right? Like, I got into online business because, I read the 4-Hour Work Week because I was reading self-help books.
Yeah.
Right. And I never would have picked up a self-help book unless it was how to pick up girls. Because at the time when I was young and stupid, I was like, I don't care about investing or online business, but I do want to learn how to pick up chicks.
Right.
So I picked up a book, but then, as embarrassing as that chapter in my life was, that led me to reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is
the most important. I feel like I feel like if anybody hasn't read that book, that's number 1 to read on the personal finance stuff.
Yeah. And then that led me to 4-Hour Work Week. And then that led me to online business. And if it wasn't for that cheesy pickup artist book, The Game by Neil Strauss, which is actually a good book, but I wish I would have just read it as like a fiction book and not like, I want to dedicate the next two years of my life to learn magic tricks. So I can you know, and it's embarrassing. That shit still comes up now. Like people are like, oh yeah, like Johnny F. didn't like, you know, didn't he used to like, you know, be part of that pickup community? I'm like, yeah, I was 10 years ago.
Right.
And it's embarrassing. And I wish that would never come up again. But at the same time, if it wasn't for that, would I have ever even walked into the self-help section of the bookstore? No, I definitely wouldn't have.
So what is this? So like you said, all these steps, like what has been a recent step that has shifted you? Or do you feel like you're kind of just happy and comfortable now? Like, and you're like super like stoked with your life? Or are you like, was there something recently that like, oh, I met this person that led me to this? Like what, I know that you and Sam like have that Invest Like a Boss podcast. Like, was that a pivotal moment?
Yeah,
like
huge.
Like,
all these are moments, you know, and it all brought me to where I am today, which is going to bring me to where I'm going to be in the future. And I don't know where that's going to be, but you know, progressively I become, you know, just like less insecure in my own life.
Yeah.
You know, just more confident as a person, also more authentic.
Cool, man.
And just like even things, I don't know, I mean, even business wise, you know, like I loved the fact that I made enough money through my dropshipping stores to, you know, to ball out and live a good life in Thailand, right? But I'm also glad that I sold the stores and moved on and then got into investing.
Right. That's like your bread and butter, right?
Yeah. You know, and then like whatever is next is going to be based off of every chain of events in the past, you know, and like, just like with you, yeah, like sure, you know, it might be, you know, you might be like, oh, like I should probably shouldn't have sold, you know, knockoff stuff on eBay, but that taught you kind of that was the first step.
It was a very baby operation,
right? And if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't maybe you would never gone to retail arbitrage,
right?
And if it wasn't for that, maybe you wouldn't have gone to Anton's course,
right? And
if it wasn't for that, maybe you wouldn't be doing what you're doing now,
right?
So I think all these steps, as much as we were like, I wish I wouldn't have done it, or, you know, I wish like, or, you know, this and that, as long as we're happy with who we are today and where we're going in the future.
Or at least if you're making progression towards, right?
Yeah. I mean, some people go like backwards, right?
But I don't know, man. Yeah. Like you gotta, like, that's why I always want to, whether we agree on everything or not, man, I gotta give credit where credit's due. Like, your journey was amazing, dude. Your journey was dope. Like,